Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anand. I hope you enjoyed my last video on stock lending and borrowing. This time I'm going to explain a little bit on the settlement, like how does settlement work and what you should know. This is basically for those who are looking for job in the trade settlement. They should understand how the settlement process works and what are the days and how important those days are, and what you can do when you have some scenarios like trade failing, a trade is not matched, and what you should do. So this is purely based on my experience and I'm just sharing my knowledge. So I hope you will enjoy this. Just keep watching my videos. I'm going to present on the board and I'll try to explain you a little bit. So as we all know that from settlement perspective, it's very important to know three things. One is pre-matching, one is matching, and then is settlement. So settlement is actually divided into two parts. One is, frankly speaking, I'll say as a pre-matching of the trade. So pre-matching of the trade happens when all the trades get booked by the desk and it flow downstream to our settlements applications. So that's when we start working on trades. The first step, which is in settlement, is pre-matching. So this pre-matching is known as TD, as a trade date. So on this date, on the trade date, you'll see like the trades are booked and it flow downstream in your application, and you'll see all the trades which were booked on the pre-matching. So the main job of the pre-matching team, there is many companies, they have a pre-matching team. So this pre-matching team, the main job is to find out how many trades are booked on this date. They need to find out which company it is, like which organization the trade has been with, like it is booked with which organization, which is like if you're buying and selling, then from where you're buying it. If you're selling it, then where you are selling it, to which company you are selling it. It's very important to know who is the counterparty, that we call it counterparty. So the first job of a pre-matching team is to identify all those counterparties and send them an email. So normally the pre-matching job is to confirm the economic detail, like what is the ISIN on that trade, what is the quantity, what is the price, what is the trade date, value date, and if it is like a fixed income, then you need to check the commission. So these are the main thing which you need to confirm with the counterparty. For example, if you're buying from JP Morgan, so you will send an email to JP Morgan asking about all these economic detail, that do you know all these economic detail in your side, is it matching with you? If they say yes, then you need to ask them for the SSI. SSI is the settlement instruction, like which account it will go to JP Morgan, what is their big code. If it is payment, then you will ask for IBAN number. Then you will check whether the SSI is also matching with JP Morgan's detail or not. If it is not matching, you will ask JP Morgan, hey, can you please confirm your SSI because it's not matching. If it is not, like if they give you something different SSI, you need to ask JP Morgan that, okay, this SSI is not set up in our system. So now what you're going to do, we'll do a callback confirmation, means setting up the SSI by calling them on the switchboard so that they can confirm the SSI. And the SSI, if you're calling on the switch number, it will not, like if you're talking to someone in JP Morgan, that person will not confirm the SSI. It will be someone else from the JP Morgan who will confirm the SSI. Then you will set up the SSI in your system so that trade will flow to the next stage. Once all these details are confirmed by JP Morgan, you will ask him, please match this trade in the market. And you are releasing the trade because they have agreed on pre-matching. So on pre-matching, it's very important to get all the trade confirmation with the counterparties and release the trade in the market. Now, here if they agreed, but what if it is not agreed, like they say no, we have a difference in economic detail, your first step is to reach out to middle office, your middle office. You need to give them the email which JP Morgan said, like, okay, these details are not matching. Middle office will cross check with the trader, and trader will cross check with the counterparty. So trader will reach out to JP Morgan's trader to cross check, hey, why this trade is not confirmed by your team? Is there anything missing? JP Morgan, if there's anything, if JP Morgan have booked the trade wrong, he will fix the trade and then he will pass on the information to his middle office. Then it will be passed on to the settlement team. This settlement team will again confirm the detail with us. The cycle will be complete, trade will be confirmed on the pre-matching date. Sometimes it gets dragged to the next day, that is, we call it as a matching, but you have to make sure like all the trades are matched on the pre-matching date so that you don't lose in a single day when it comes for the settlement. So TD is normally we try to practice call it as a trade date as a pre-matching, and the T+1 on this date all your trade should match. Everything should get matched in the system. If anything is not matched, you need to reach out to your middle office, sending them a detail, explaining in the situation that why the trade is not matched. The reason, whatever the counterparty have told you. Middle office job is to get the trade match on this date, get the confirmation from the counterparty, from the trader, and they need to fix the trade on this date. Because if it fails to get confirmed on this date, trade date on T+2, that is settlement date, we call it. So on this day, trade cannot settle. It will fail in the market. Now, if the trade fail in the market, please note like there will be a lot of repercussion because of that. Why? If trade fail on the settlement date, you might get charged by the exchange, you might get charged by the counterparties, you might get charged like because of the fail cost, the commissions and everything. There are a lot of things get charged on if a trade fails. So we have to be very careful when we are working in the settlement. Settlement is a very important team in the entire investment banking because a lot of things depends upon them, how they work, how quickly they communicate with the counterparties. That's why in the settlement you have to maintain your relationship with the counterparties so that you get confirmation, you get details on a timely basis. So it's very important that we need to follow these 3 steps when you're working in settlement. When you're going for an interview, you should know what is pre-matching, what is matching, what is settlement. They will not ask you like all these 3 in a separate, they will just ask you what is pre-matching, what does settlement do. So you need to explain them in this way so that they will be able to understand. Now, what if the trade get confirmed on this date? This is very critical date. On this date, all the trades should settle in the market. It should not fail. So If you, like for example, if a trade was not confirmed on the match on this date T+1 and T+2 it get confirmed, make sure you have stocks to deliver if you're selling it, and make sure you have cash, because when you're buying it, what do you need to do? You're buying the shares, then you pay them the cash. So you make sure you have the cash in your account so that it will go, the transaction will happen smoothly and trade will not fail. So the fail of settled, like trade can fail because of, like, you, if you don't have quantities in your account, then trade can fail if it is a sell trade. If it is a buy trade and you don't have cash, it can fail because you're not holding enough cash to deliver in the market. The transaction can stop because the system is so smart that it will immediately stop the settlement and it will not happen in the exchange. If it is short, if you're selling it and if it is short, then what you can do, inform the middle office, because when it's short you can't do anything. If you don't see that there is a buy is booked to cover this trade, if there's nothing booked there, as a buy trade to cover the short trade, the sell trade, you need to inform to middle office. Middle office will inform to front office. Front office will check with the SBL team. Hey, can I borrow some shares to deliver this one? Or middle office or the front office directly go to market, and he will buy the shares from the market to deliver the share. Why it's very important for them? Because they have the relationship with the counterparties. They have to maintain that because it's a business. They have to run a business with them. They have to maintain that relationship so that they can get more business in coming days. So they will try to sell this, like to settle this trade by borrowing or by borrowing or by buying it from the market. Whatever the difference will be there, they will try to adjust that difference in the P&L, and that's their job. That's their job. The front office work in that way. They know how to mitigate these small costs, and they how to just cover those costs. So it's very important to know that. Now the settlement in the buy trade, if it is a buy trade, you should have cash to, when you're buying it, it means you are getting the shares, you are delivering the cash, means you are simultaneously it happens. Your account should have enough fund to deliver the cash, and it's very important because if you don't have cash, trade will fail. It's not going to settle. So you need to make sure your cash management team, they should have fund to deliver that out. If you get a message from the cash management team that you don't hold that much cash, you need to inform immediately to middle office that, hey guys, we are supposed to have cash for this trade which we are buying from the counterparties, because when you buy the shares you pay them for that value. Middle office immediately contact with the front office that, hey, did we booked any sell trade or something which is going to cover the cash, because when you're selling it you are getting the cash. So they can check with the front office, or if the cash was used by some other team, your cash management team, they should know like which trade has used the cash. When you escalate the thing to middle office and front office, they can figure it out that what happened, and they will work with the teams like the cash management team, or they will just directly sell something in the market to get the cash, or they can try to get funding from the different teams by selling by selling or by transferring the cash. So it's very important that you keep an eye on all these buy and sell trade. The story is not different for the fixed income or for the repo. It's like almost the same. They also work in the same pattern. You need to be very careful when you're working with the equities, when you're working with the fixed income team, or you're working with the stock lending or borrowing team. So only difference is that stock lending or borrowing team will have only stock exchange and during the settlement, and these team will exchange both the cash and stock. So now we call it DVP. This is delivery versus payment. Means you are selling it for cash. So sell versus cash. That's what I say. Now if you say RVP, this is receive versus payment. You're receiving shares and you are just paying the cash. So these are the two terms normally used by most of the team, DVP and RVP. So delivery versus payment, you are just delivering the shares and getting money. RVP receiving the shares and you are getting money. There is other sometimes people use is like for the stock loan they just deliver the shares. So that is like free of cash. So there will be no cash involved in the stock lending and borrowing. So you need to be careful. Now when you are short, you sometimes people use as USEC. It means you are short of securities. If counterparty is short, they will sometimes exchange will use as CSEC, as a counterparty short of securities. So these are the terms which are used mostly in the settlement. So you have to be very careful on these, especially on the matching date. You need to just, the best practice is keep an eye, get all the trades match on this date, and on T+2 all the trades to settle. They should never fail. If trade fail, then what will you do? The same thing. If trade fails, then you need to chase your counterparty. For if it is a sell trade, definitely they don't have cash, so they are failing it. You need to chase counterparty. If it is a buy trade, definitely they don't have stock, so that's why they are failing it. You need to chase counterparty, and simultaneously you need to inform to your middle office, keep on updating them why the trade is failing and what's going on with the counterparty, what is the communication we're having with the counterparty. You need to keep on informing middle office, because middle office will keep an eye on all of these things. And if they can help you, they will definitely directly pitch in with the counterparty, and they'll try to settle the trade. They sometimes talk to the counterparty middle office, and then they try to communicate with them to settle the trade. Trades should never fail on the settlement date. That's a rule of thumb. If it is failing for T+1, like if I say that the settlement date, if it is on settlement date it failed, if it goes to SD+1, then it's like a lot of cost and charges will be involved in that, and then your claims team will be involved in these things. So this is just a basic of the settlement, and I hope you understand. And if you have any doubt, just I suggest just go through the video again. So, and you can just ask me anything, whatever you want to know on the comment. I'll try to explain what I know, what I have gained from my knowledge, like from experience. I hope you guys understand the video and the flow, and I hope it will help you to crack some interviews. I'm planning to have some question and answer sessions with you guys, and definitely I'll try to cover a lot of questions especially for the newcomers, and for those who have like a couple of years of experience. They can also use that question answer session in there during the interview. I think that will help everyone. So thank you so much again. Keep watching my video. I'll try to cover a couple of more topics. Thank you so much.